Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you all here. There are quite a few more of you now than there were last time I uploaded a video, so hello. I'm so glad that you've all decided to join. This is very exciting. Now, I plan on making a kind of like a follow-up to the video that brought a lot of you here, the Why Did Victorian Women Change Their Clothes 5 Times a Day video, and answer some of the questions that popped up very frequently in the comments section. But for those of you who are new here, I am in law school and time is a little bit of the essence for me right now, so that is going to take me a little while to get out. So for now, I'm just going to carry on with a series that I started over a year ago of playing this game called Dress Up Time Princess, which you've probably seen ads for it, and I was getting bombarded with ads for it, and I finally decided, you know what, we're going to play this game and see how accurate it is. So I'll link the playlist down below. We are Marie Antoinette. We were playing as this girl who kind of found a magic lectern, and it turned her into Marie Antoinette. And we're in the middle of the affair of the diamond necklace right now. So for those of you who are new here, I recommend you watch those first videos before watching this one to catch yourself up. But yeah, this is exciting. It's been a long time since we visited this series, and I believe we are 11% of the way through the story, so this is kind of the series I go back to during the school year when I don't have time to film anything more elaborate. All right, Versailles Rose. It's not hard to get caught up in the revelry with all the music and food. It got me thinking, are people more true to themselves when they have a mask on, or is it the opposite? If I had been magically turned into Marie Antoinette, I would not be asking existential questions about the truthfulness of human existence. I would be wondering, what on earth am I doing in the 1780s? That would be more on my priority list than philosophical questions about human existence, but I suppose to each her own. In the evening, while I'm getting ready for a costume ball, another one, didn't she just have a ball? Madame Deneuve informs me that Lafayette wishes to speak to me. So this is the Marquis de Lafayette. Your Majesty, good day. I wish to inform you that the rumors have been quelled. What is she wearing? That is not correct 18th century clothing. I don't think I needed to tell anybody that, though. Really? That's great. Thank you, Marquis de Lafayette, for helping the royal household deal with this matter. Lafayette stares at me. He seems to be undergoing a bit of an internal struggle. Your Majesty, you seem to have changed somewhat. You're more serious now. Really? So, do you love the current me more or the me of the past? That is a very, very strange response to that. That's just a really weird question to ask. He looks shocked. Okay, well, yeah, I think that's a very reasonable response. He looks shocked. I reflect on what I just said and realize it might have given him the wrong impression. Oh, might it have? Really? Oh, I mean, which version of me do you think is better? I didn't mean anything more. Yes, Your Majesty. You act more like a queen now compared to before. I believe that you will earn the people's respect as time goes by. He's just as stern as before. I believe Your Majesty needs to continue preparing for the ball. If there is anything else, or if there is nothing else at hand, I shall go and perform my other duties. Other duties? Are you not attending the ball today? I have never been interested in balls. I think back to what Leonard said before about Lafayette being the dream guy for all women in France. If he attends a ball, he'll probably be surrounded by loads of women, and he won't like it one bit. A cheeky idea comes to mind. Maybe I can pay him back for how he treated me in the past. So this is a nice little nod to history. The Marquis de Lafayette was, in real life, incredibly bad at dancing. And at, I believe it was the coronation of Louis XVI, he was actually laughed off of the dance floor because of how bad he was at dancing. So he probably didn't really like balls very much in real life. Oh, but what if I invite you to the ball? Would you refuse the Queen of France? She was just worried about giving him the wrong impression, and now she's inviting him to a ball. If Your Majesty insists, I shall attend. He's clearly very enthusiastic about the idea. But everyone will be wearing a mask at the ball, so even if I attend, Your Majesty will not know. I don't think there's any point in attending. How can you be so sure? I might be able to recognize you. Let's see. If I manage to recognize you, will you fulfill a request of mine? Look, he clearly does not want to go. Why is she trying to force him? I will fulfill your request, of course, Your Majesty. Then I shall take my leave now. May you have an enjoyable evening. For France, Your Majesty. So is he coming or not? I feel like that was kind of left up in the air. Night has fallen, Versailles is steeped in festivity. Everyone is excitedly preparing for the ball. After hearing the good news from Lafayette, I am greatly relieved, and I am really looking forward to the ball. Oh. First of all, the shape of these heels has absolutely nothing to do with the 1780s. Shoes in the 1780s did not have heels this high. They tended to be much lower and much more chunky, and the heels were much more curved. They also would have had buckles, and they would not have had feathers on them. Moving upwards. So the dress is obviously way too short. It would come down to the floor. The shape of the skirt is actually kind of right. I mean, it's sticking out at the sides a little bit, and you do see that with the court dresses of the nobility in the late 18th century, from the early up to the late 18th century, with the side hoops or the paniers that they would wear to make their hips look very large. But they would stick out much more at a right angle than this does, and they wouldn't be made out of feathers. And I mean, nothing is even remotely correct up here. I mean, that little neck ruffle thing that she has, maybe her hair has a kind of like a gesture at the 18th century, but there's really nothing there. So I am not going to do that at all. I'm going to change her out of that. All right, we've gotten her back to kind of a baseline. So let us look at some dresses that fit within the category that we need, and we're going to see if we can find something that is 18th century. So this is the one that I usually put her in because this is actually quite accurate for the 1780s. I mean, it's stylized, but it's actually quite accurate. So I think I'm going to have her in this because this is the most accurate. This is my favorite dress that they have given us so far because it's quite accurate. And if you want to see why it's accurate, I dissected it in an earlier video. So we're going to wear that. And now hair. Okay, so the accurate hair that I like is not available. It doesn't fit in with this. This hair it's clearly supposed to look kind of powdered and it's facing upwards. So it is kind of gesturing at the 18th century, although it's a very, very vague gesture. It's just the faintest little suspicion of 18th century hair, but it's better than nothing. So we'll have that. We'll put the neck ruffle back on. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Earrings, bracelets. So I like this. They've got a matching pair of bracelets, one for each wrist, and in the 18th century, all the way up to the kind of late 19th century, bracelets were in matching pairs, one for each wrist. So I think I've done everything I can. So, oh, for heaven's sake, I need to put on a mask. Look at this nonsense. How is that going to obscure your face at all? Also, that is not even remotely 18th century. I'll put a picture of an 18th century mask. It looked a lot cooler than that. All right. You seem to have really put a lot of thought into it this time. Oh, I know. Are you trying to give him a surprise? Him is probably Hans Axel von Fersen, the purported lover of Marie Antoinette, and in this game, apparently the actual lover of Marie Antoinette. Fersen's dashing looks, his mesmerizing gaze, my cheeks feel hot all of a sudden. I've seen Hans Axel von Fersen in an oil painting, and he's no oil painting, so I think dashing looks is very, very generous. The grand ballroom is brilliantly lit. The smell of exquisite cuisine and fine wine fills the air. The sound of laughter and merriment echo through the hall. The ladies are dressed in their finest, and the gentlemen are at their most charming. There is delightful chatter. Perhaps everyone is more relaxed. To the left and right of the crowd, I spot two familiar figures. One appears gentle and dashing, the other cold and stern. Who could they be? Approach the gentle and dashing figure or approach the cold and stern figure. So the gentle and dashing figure is Fersen. The cold and stern figure is Lafayette. I'm probably going to have to choose Fersen again, even though I don't really like him, because it's the more historically accurate choice, based on the accepted history. He may be wearing a mask, but the rest of him feels incredibly familiar. Before I figure out who he is, he walks towards me, as though he feels the same way about me. That mask does not obscure anything. I know who he is. Charming lady, I was drawn to your elegance the moment I set eyes on you. This voice, it's Fersen. Yeah, and the face and body and hair and hat and clothing and inaccurate neck ruffle are also Fersen. His voice is deep and gentle, and the eyes that peer out of the mask are passionate and mesmerizing. I feel my face burning up. It looks like he's staring at her feet. My lady, do you not wish to speak to me? How shy you are. What a pity I cannot see your face. Your flushed cheeks must be so fetching. You can see her cheek. Her cheeks are not at all obscured by her mask is not obscuring anything. I'm getting irrationally irritated by this. May I ask you for a dance? Fersen's manners are flawless, and his gestures so elegant, but when I realize that right now I'm just someone else in his eyes, my delight vanishes. He knows who you are. What am I thinking? Even if he thinks it's me, the person he loves is Queen Marie. Yeah, because the girl who's actually has possessed Marie Antoinette's body is not Marie Antoinette, she's just some random girl. I try to calm down, but it's just too hard to soothe my inner turmoil. Suddenly I realize that my emotions are totally under Fersen's control. Well, that sounds like a very healthy relationship. Why are you asking me for a dance? Is it merely because you like my elegance? Of course not. The ballroom is filled with stunning people, but no one can compare to you. You are unique. I've not been able to tear my eyes away from you from the moment you walked through the doorway. Perhaps this is fate. So, you don't know who I am? Fersen freezes momentarily, then his lips curl up in a faint smile. The general rule of costume balls is that we shouldn't reveal someone's identity, even if we do recognize them. My dear lady, I'm sure you do know that. Are you hoping that I've recognized you? Are we both thinking the same thing? I don't know. I have no idea what he's thinking. He's speaking in riddles. You answer my question first, and then I'll answer yours. All right, ladies first. I don't know who you are, but I feel like I know you somehow. She is wearing a little bit of filigree on her face. How do you not recognize her? Or perhaps we've met somewhere before. Somewhere? In the land of dreams, lovely yet tense lady. I'm going to change, that's going to be my Instagram caption now, my Instagram bio. Lovely yet tense lady. Oh, that is funny. You have appeared in my dreams so many times before, haven't you? How is she supposed to know? If somebody dreams about you, you don't choose to have somebody dream about you. Oh, perhaps. The conversation reminds me of another costume ball we attended. That night, we had just finished dancing and I had removed his mask. Just as I was about to remove my mask, he stopped me. He said that he knew who I was, even with a mask on, for I was his one and only flawless white rose. But I had never expected that so many years later, in a similar setting, he'd fail to recognize me, even though I recognized him at first sight, and even though my mask does not obscure anything. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. I think you should go find another lovely lady to dance with. I think she's making a mountain out of a molehill. I don't really understand why she's upset. Without waiting for a reply, I pull up my skirt and run off. I just want to escape the ballroom, to get away from this horrible place and the people in it. I'm already far away from the crowd when Fersen rushes up to me and grabs my hand. He's panting and his hand is hot, and she told you to go away, so it's kind of creepy that you're running after her. My lady, wait! Let go of me! Have I offended you in some way? Why are you suddenly rejecting me? She doesn't need to give you a reason. She said no, that should be enough. Do you treat every lady in your dreams this way? Are all women the same to you? No, of course not. Well, that really hurt his feelings. I guess the joke went a bit far, my princess. Do you really have so little faith in me? Do you really think I cannot recognize you, my flawless white rose? So you were just teasing me? Yes, I only wanted to tease you a little, but your reaction was so cute I couldn't help myself. getting really, really uncomfortable with this man. At first, I just didn't like him, but now I'm ever so slightly afraid of him. To all of the men out there, this does not actually charm women in real life. It makes them afraid of you, this kind of behavior. Then, are you willing to answer my question? But judging from what just happened, I don't need to check if my princess has recognized me or not. Calmly speak Fersen's name. Be cheeky and say you don't recognize him. Call him Lafayette on purpose. I'm not going to be cheeky because I don't want to reward him for his creepy behavior, so I'm just going to grab the bull by the horns. Just knowing that Fersen recognized me is enough to keep me from raging. Okay, I think raging might have been a little bit of an overreaction. As he gazes at me passionately, the warmth in my heart grows to replace the bitterness I felt earlier. I'm so tempted to say I don't recognize you, but actually I recognized you the moment you spoke, because you always wear the exact same clothing and your mask really only obscures your right cheek. I knew my princess would not disappoint me. I'm so overjoyed that I do not know what to do. She's not your princess, she is married. I'm just like a youth enchanted by his first love. I can never behave like a mature gentleman in your presence. Is it just me, or is he sounding more and more and more like those men who claim to be nice guys and say that because they're nice, women have to marry them, without actually being nice? Fersen's eyes are so gentle that they remind me of moonlight. I sink into his gaze, unable to break free, and unwilling to break free. So many years, and you're just as cheeky as ever. My princess, don't be angry. I'll do anything you want me to, just to make you smile at me again. Really? Yes. Go ahead and punish me. I'd dance with you all night under the moon if only I could see you smile. I don't see how getting to dance with her is a punishment. That wouldn't be a punishment for you. It'd be a punishment for me, wouldn't it? That's what I just said. It wouldn't be a punishment for him. It would be a punishment for her. I say it would be a punishment for her because she'd have to spend all night dancing with a creepy guy. I don't know why she thinks it would be a punishment for her, but... My princess, you're finally smiling. Oh. Please forgive me, my princess. Would you be willing to pity me and share my punishment by dancing with me? Sure. I'm willing to dance with you until the end of time. She went from 0 to 100 very, very quickly. Sure, I'm willing to dance with you until the end of time. Yes, until the end of time. Fersen takes me by the hand, and we step into the dance area. Our steps are light, and it feels like we're dancing on clouds. She did basically coerce the Marquis de Lafayette into coming here so she could dance with him, and now she's just ignoring him. And I know that is technically my fault, but I still want to blame her. His smiling eyes, firm grasp, passionate gaze, and his musky cologne are drawing me in so deep. I don't know how long we danced that night, but we only had eyes for one another. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Once again, welcome to all of the new subscribers, and a huge thank you to Mary Royal, Kit Kat Stitch, Sandra White, Emily Donnelly, V Birchwood, Kiara Craft, and The Turtle Moves for sponsoring this channel on Patreon. If you would also like to sponsor this channel on Patreon, I'll leave a link down below. If not, I completely understand, but you should follow me on Instagram because that's free and there's no excuse not to. And I'm also going to leave my email down there if you want to contact me. And I hope that you'll stick around next time. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, bye.